We wanted someone to quote Beyonce on this show, and that's why we brought you on. We were obviously having a very heated debate over the role of the government in people's private lives. And Michael Steele, I want to throw this to you because it seems somewhat, hypocritical, to put it lightly, that the Republican Party would wrap its arms so tightly around this notion of personal choice and freedom, and then on the same note, sort of turn around and say, look, gay unions are, that love isn't real love.
Well, I think that the party, you're right, that in some cases you do have that hypocrisy that some people have espoused, but I think overall people have taken the view, more of a libertarian view, that the local communities need to make these decisions, these states should decide, and that's where you have the battle drawn out, as opposed to at the federal level where you have a federal mandate. I mean, I know when I was asked about, the Defense of Marriage Act and at the federal level, and I just don't think that's a role that the federal government should take. I think those are local decisions decided by the state of California, the state of Maryland, where I live. A very different outcome may be the result. So everybody has a chance to express themselves, and the community decides ultimately where they want to be. And I think that that's fundamentally what this whole thing is about. So once you bring it to the federal level, then you start stomping on my toes because I feel differently about it, and I feel that I can't express it because it's subsumed into a bigger argument made by others who don't live in my community.
But Michael, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Since I fought for the entire of America, every state, don't you believe that my love is just as equal as your love? When I come back from Iraq, that I shouldn't go to one state where my love is inferior to yours and another state where I wouldn't be able to say goodbye to my husband or to my lover. I mean, what's the problem?
Well, someone who doesn't espouse, I'm not going to get into how you define your love and how you feel for, not how you feel for a person, but then you take it to another level when you're asking the broader community in which you live to look at that marriage, to look at that relationship in a way that puts it on par with other things. And that's the nature of the debate that I think is important at the local level as opposed to at the federal level, where a lot of what you're talking about gets lost because then people get into a whole different conversation that has less to do about what you just expressed and more about how they feel.
I'm lost right now, Michael. I really get lost in some of your vocabulary. All I know is that when I fell in love, it was worth fighting for. And you could put all this vocabulary in it and talk about this state or that state, but bottom line is what translates in my book is that you don't think that I deserve to be married in every state of America.
Michael, I'm curious about whether you think it would be okay in modern America for there to be some states where black men could not marry white women. If local standards were that was unacceptable.
First off, let's just be very clear about a couple of things. There are a significant number of African Americans, myself included, who do not appreciate that particular equation. Because when you walk into a room, I don't know if you're gay or not, but when I walk in a room, you know I'm black, and whatever racial feelings you have about African Americans, about black people, that is something that is visceral. It comes out. I don't know until later on. Maybe you tell me or some other way. So don't sit there and make that. Don't make that. Don't even make the comparison because they're not the same.
The analogy is not perfect.
It's not perfect if he doesn't think it's perfect.
I don't. Excuse me. Respect the fact that I don't think it's perfect.
I understand. But
as an African American, it's not perfect.
Okay.
Legally speaking, these are immutable characteristics. You can't help whether you're white or whether you're black. You can't help whether you're gay or whether you're straight. The notion that you should be able to, because you can't change these things, not behaviors, not clubs you belong to. You can't change who you love, and you can't change what color you are. Therefore, there should be equality on a national basis. Whites should be able to marry blacks everywhere in the country, because to have that be otherwise would be discriminatory. Similarly, it's the same story with same-sex marriage. In your cultural view, that may be acceptable. In mine, it is not.
Well, and race in this country is certainly a very nuanced
race is a very different category of discrimination.